Across the globe, there are stories from small towns that have the power to influence how we think about our world. One such tale comes from Minamata, Japan. At first glance, it might seem like a local issue from decades ago, but its lessons resonate even today. Let's embark on a journey through the mysteries and discoveries of Minamata, a story of cats, people, and the unexpected consequences of unchecked actions. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to get notified every time I upload a new video, click the bell icon as well. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it a lot. All right, let's get started. Have you ever watched cats? They're full of surprises. They'll chase after a laser pointer one moment and then curl up in the sunniest spot in the house for a nap the next. In fact, if you could swap lives with a cat, you might be envious. These little creatures sleep for about 15 hours every day. Yes, 15, but when they're not snoozing, they're full of energy. They're either hungry and letting you know with their loud meows, or they're playing hide and seek in spots you wouldn't think of looking. Now imagine being in Minamata, Japan in the 1950s. The town's cats began to behave really differently, not the usual mischievous behavior, but something that puzzled everyone. It seemed as if the cats had forgotten how to be cats. They appeared to be dancing, but not in a fun way. Their bodies jerked around, and they made unsettling noises. It was heartbreaking and confusing to see. And as the months rolled by, an even scarier realization dawned upon the people of Minamata. It wasn't just the cats acting out. By 1956, some of the town's residents began to show similar signs of distress. It was as if an unknown force was affecting the town's cats and its people. Everyone was searching for answers. Was it something in the water? Was it a new disease? Or perhaps something they were eating? No one knew what was happening. The only thing clear was that something was very wrong in Minamata. And with every passing day, the mystery deepened, urging people to find out what was affecting their beloved pets and fellow residents. Now let's dive into what was really happening in Minamata during the 1950s. There was a company, the Chiso Corporation, working in the town. Like any other factory, they had waste to deal with. Here's where the plot thickens. They were carelessly dumping large amounts of waste mercury into the nearby bay. Now, mercury isn't just the shiny liquid you see in old thermometers. It can also mix with other things and become really harmful. You might wonder, why does mercury matter? Well, when mercury gets into the water, it can change its form. In this case, it turned into a type called methyl mercury. This is dangerous stuff. Fish and other sea creatures swallow it without knowing. And guess who eats those fish? Right, the people and cats of Minamata. The World Health Organization has shared some of the scary effects of mercury poisoning. People can start moving in ways they can't control, just like those dancing cats. They can also forget things, have trouble sleeping, and even get kidney problems. The issue in Minamata became so big that it got its own name, Minamata disease. Thousands felt its effects, though only about 2,000 cases got officially recognized. But here's something to think about. When harmful stuff gets into our environment, it doesn't just stay in one place. It can spread and touch everything around it. In Minamata, what started as a company dumping waste in the water ended up affecting an entire community, and it reminds us that every action, big or small, can ripple out in ways we can't always predict. So, next time you hear about mercury or any pollution, remember the story of Minamata. It's a lesson about the choices we make and the world we want to live in. Years after the strange happenings in Minamata, in 1996, the Japanese government decided to step in. They set up a system to help those who were hurt by the disease. Every month, People affected received a certain amount of money, roughly equivalent to pound 120. Plus, the company responsible for all the trouble, the Chisso Corporation, gave a one-time payment of about £1,500 to each victim. Now you might think, that's great, problem solved. But it wasn't that simple. The full impact of what happened in Minamata was massive. Many believed that the compensation was not enough considering the damage done. And by 2011, the voices of the affected people became louder. They took their fight to the courts, and finally, there was some progress. The outcome? A series of important court decisions were made in March 2011. Chisso Corporation was told to pay a big amount. Most of the victims would get a lump sum of around $15,600 each. On top of that, a huge fund, amounting to roughly $23.5 million, was set up. And here's another piece of good news. The government decided to pitch in and help cover some of the medical bills. It's easy to look back now and think everything's settled, but Minamata's story is more than just a chapter in a history book. It's a wake-up call. It shows what can go wrong when companies don't think about the consequences of their actions. The Minamata disaster reminds us of the importance of being responsible and caring for our planet and its people. If not, history might just repeat itself. As we close the chapter on Minamata's poignant tale, it's essential to remember that this isn't just history. It's a reflection of the choices we make, the responsibilities we bear, and the ripple effects they can create. While the town's name might fade from daily conversations, the lessons should remain. Let's ensure that Minamata's legacy isn't just one of tragedy, but also one of change, awakening, and a commitment to doing better for our world and its future. If you like what I do in here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you have some anime that you'd like me to cover, write it down in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.